Hi, and welcome to Gay America. Real talk coming to you. Today is Wednesday, July 23rd. Today's topic, I want to talk about coming out. First, let's go back to where I came out at. Like I've said, I came out when I was 12. But different era, different time. It wasn't accepted. So for 26 years later, I went back in the closet. I know when I say closet, I think of that's where I'm going to hang my clothes. That's where humans should not be at. And I read that quite often. But in a way, I kind of disagree too. And the reason for that is we all have our reasons for coming out. We all have our reasons for staying in. Does it make it right or wrong? No. Because it should be each individual's choice when to come out. When I came out at 12, I didn't have the support system. I knew no gays. So it was not the right opportunity. I came out when I was 38. But I didn't come out. It came out for me. I met a man. He was very abusive, so when I told him not to ever come back, well, I didn't realize the man was such a mental case as he was. He called the cops, and the cops came down and went across the scanner. Two gay men fighting, but they didn't use the word gay, they used the other word. So I came out that way. It came across the scanners. People were all over town calling each other. It got to my mom. Mom jumps in her car, comes up there immediately. She sees the cops there, the ambulance there, the whole 9 yards, and she's like, what the hell's going on? The cops said, well, it's a gay fight. Actually, if I'm going to be honest, what they said was it was two queers fighting. Inappropriate, right? This was cops. So again, I didn't have the support system. But now my family knows. I can't go back in now. Because I honestly feel and believe once you come out, you can't take that back. You're out now. Because even if you try to recant your words and say, oh, no, it was a mistake. I was just messing around, fooling around, whatever. It was an experiment thing. They're still going to judge you. So when you are able and ready to come out, do so. So my best advice to you is, because you know your family, you know your friends, if you're still young enough to go to school or you're in college even wanting to come out, you know the people at the colleges. If you work, you know the people at work. Do they accept gays? Do they make jokes about them? Like, oh, can you believe Mr. Gay guy over there or lesbian over there came in today? If you hear things like that, you're not going to have the support system in there. Now, if you do have the support system, boy, I applaud you so much. There's no reason for you to stay in the closet, right? I don't know. Maybe you have other reasons for not coming out. But I feel that you should be able to love yourself. Because if you can't love yourself, you can't love your partner. Whether it's male or female. You just can't love no one. I also feel that you have to be mentally strong. Because you may take so much heat from coming out. And what I mean by heat is my family, a lot of my family members disowned me. All my friends shunned me. They said that they suspected, but why did I have to come out? Why couldn't I just went and took her to my grave? But you know, when I was closeted and even wasn't dating men, I just chose not to date. I just chose to be alone. I was suicidal. I tried suicide more than once, more than twice. I bet more than 5 times if I remember correctly. I was a severe alcoholic. Why? I was depressed. I was living a lie. But I see my brothers and sisters, my other family members, my friends, dating, married. Then there was me. So one day a family member said to me, are you gay? Is that why you don't date? I'm like, no, please. Are you kidding me? I'm not gay. So I would have to make my jokes to fit in with them so that I wasn't discovered. So can you handle things like that? When I came out, my brake lines were cut more than once. My brother finally said, I'm not fixing them no more. I'm just not. Queer was written on my house, spray painted, more than once. I remember getting into an argument with an ambulance driver, a local ambulance driver. Like I said, we come from a small town, so everyone knows everybody. And almost, pretty well, somehow or another, you're related to somebody in that town. So he pulls over the ambulance right in front of the post office, uptown. And he starts arguing with me, calling me queer, calling me faggot and everything else. And I'm thinking, well, he's an ambulance driver. If I hit him or I do anything, what's going to come back on me? As much as I don't believe in squealing, I didn't want to get anyone in trouble, but I really kind of feared my life. So I called the cops. The cops' exact words to me on the phone was, "We're not getting involved in no queer shit." I apologize for cussing, but that was the exact words. So I go inside the post office because I was going to ignore it then. He goes over to where his brother-in-law owns a store at. And again, like I said, this is a small community, so a small store. He's opening up the door, yelling at me and cussing at me, trying to get me to fight with him. Why? So you have your family and your friends back you up and say, "I hit you first"? I wasn't falling for all that. So I chose to go on home. It got out that he had done this to me. His mom made him apologize to me. Even though he's a grown man, my mother and his mother were friends. But they apologized to me at Walmart in our next town when we ran into each other. I felt it phony. I felt it was unnecessary because you didn't mean a damn thing you just said to me. Your mom's making you to say it and you're a grown man. I should have been appreciative of what he said, but it was the way he said it in his tone. The way he was looking at me. Like, you know damn well if we walk out of right now and our mama's in here, I'm going to beat you. That's the impression I got. But I also learned to get thick skin pretty quick. So I didn't let them know that, okay, I'm worried about if I walk out my house now if I'm going to get beat up. I had a surveillance put on my house. Not by me, but by my neighbors. Because they heard all of a sudden I was gay. I don't remember exactly how long it was. I was told 30 days. Someone else told me it was 2 weeks. I don't know. Well, one day the cops came to my house and they said, "We need to talk to you." And, your mom comes to your house quite often. Yeah, what's the point? And how do you know this? They said because in small communities like this, when they hear someone's gay in the neighborhood, they think sex offender. So they were calling the cops more than once. That's why they were watching my house, saying that I was in there raping and molesting little boys. None of this was true. It was unfounded, and that can be looked up and checked. I have no kind of record like that. So why am I telling you all this? I'm trying to say, before you come out, know what you may come out to. Have that thick skin. Love yourself. Do not care what anyone thinks. But it's easier said than done. Because in the long run, I did care what these people thought. I knew I wasn't raping boys in there. I knew it. But to them, boys was still men. But they used the word boys to get the cops to get me out of the neighborhood. To come find out there was no men coming and going to my house. Because again, there was no such a small community that anyone knew who came to my house. Because to go through by my house, you had to go right through the main part of town. So if there's a strange car in town, people start talking and calling and asking who's got a visitor coming from such and such town. That's nonsense. But it happens. So with me telling you all this about my life, what if it happens to you? Can you handle that? And if the answer is no, then this is not the right opportunity to come out. My next best advice would be is contact someone from the LGBT community. Get some support system gathered up. If your family says, make jokes about gays, homosexuals, lesbians, oh, can you believe that man wore a dress? You know they're very cynical of men, or women. I apologize for that. But don't come out. This may not be the right opportunity. My next thing I would say is ease them into it. Don't just bring your partner in by the way and say, "Oh, I'm gay and here's my partner." I'm not going to defend the family because my family reacted different and everyone's family is going to act different. But I'm looking out for you and your partner now. So now not only are you going to catch heck, but so isn't he or she. Like, if you didn't tell them what was happening when you walked in, now your loved one has to worry about you, but not only worry about you, but worry about the family, jumping him, calling him names or her names. Is that fair to them? So when I say ease them into it, start talking to them about different things. Oh, can you believe, Mom, this morning when I went to school, I saw this young man, and I don't know much about it, but he was kind of acting like, like he had makeup on, or he said the other night he had a dress on. They start criticizing that, not accepting, well, my son won't do that. No son of mine's queer, because my parent did that. Don't come out yet. Be strong. So when you come out, you can take on everyone and everything. I wish I could sit here right now and say, honey, you should come on out tomorrow morning. Do not wait no longer. But each life is different. You know your surrounding area. You know what your town's like, your school's like, your work's like, your church, your family. So if you know all these people are going to either beat you up, call you names, and you can't handle that or stand up to that, do not come out yet. I had to move a couple states over just to be me. And I get asked that a lot. Why'd you come to Texas? And my first response is, and it's never changed, I want to be me. What do you mean to be you? I want to be gay. Well, you can't be gay in a different state? I'm not saying that. If you were an outsider and you would go to Illinois, you might be accepted. I can't say that for you. But I grew up in that community. People knew me. I worked at a little store from the age of 12 to 16. So I bagged these groceries. I took groceries home to these people's families. They had me in their homes. Now they're thinking, oh my God, I had someone like him in my house. All these things run through their mind. They're not thinking about all the good they knew me from a kid on up. They're judging me now for what they heard. Can you handle that? Again, if the answer is no, this is not a right opportunity. No one should force you. No one should tell you when to come out. I'm telling you, come out when you feel it's the right opportunity. If it's late in life, I'm sorry to say it's better than never. If you're 16, 14, 15, and you know your family and everyone's all kosher with this, you have other family members that are gay, and they're going to support you, come out. But remember, I can only talk about my life. So I'm trying to warn you what could happen. I read on newspapers, I read on Facebook and watch the news how people get beat up in New York on the subway because this man was gay. Or a transgender just recently got beat up so bad that the poor person couldn't even see. Their eyes were completely black and shut. I'm not saying that's going to happen to you. But my best advice would be sit down before you're ready to come out and think about all the bad things that can happen to you. And then at the end of the day, if you're okay with that, or maybe this won't happen to you, then there's no doubt about it. Come out. Maybe there's a different reason why you're not coming out. Because it's a shameful thing to you. Because again, like I said, I've been raped and beaten by family members that were males. So you would think it'd be kind of disgusting for me to run to a man. First of all, I never run to a man, honey. I never do. Because I look like this. I don't need a man. I want a man. There's the difference. And I always tell everybody, it's not about the sex. Sex, even in a straight relationship, should be the same thing. Sex is a bonus. Sex comes with the relationship when it's right. Whether it's gay or straight. So if you can't quite yet accept the fact that, yes, you're attracted to a man, yes, you want to be with a man, but you can't comprehend the gay sex part yet, don't let that even stop you from coming out. Because if everyone else is supportive beside you, do it. It's like even having straight sex. I've talked to young females and young males that it's nervous, it's hectic the first time. And nothing's perfect. If you were taught all your life, it's sad to see another man naked. Or if you're a female and it's sad to see another female naked. Get over those issues before you come out. Don't put your partner through it until you're ready. I said this the other day that I didn't love myself for a good many years, so that's one of the reasons why I never had a partner, really. And I've had partners, don't get me wrong, but nothing like to the extent where I want to say I want to spend the rest of my life with him or that I want to marry him. Now, I love myself. I don't care what anyone says. I have that skin thicker than anything right now. So I'm ready. But does it mean I'm ready? I'm going to settle for the first guy that comes along? No. A lot of dating sites are not dating sites. They're sex sites. I don't feel being gay or straight, that's what a relationship's about. But find yourself first before you find that loved one. That's even in a straight relationship. I see no difference or similarities in that. Differences in that. I see a lot of similarities, because you have to love you. You have to accept you. But know your surrounding areas. Find that person you trust. But just because you thought that friend was your friend or that family member was your family member, you may think you can tell them everything, but maybe they don't agree with a gay lifestyle. Or maybe they do, but they won't accept it because it's their family member or their best friend that's gay. So trust that person. Because if you confide in that person and that person goes tells everybody else, be prepared, honey, for what may happen. Again, I pray for the day, I dream of the day that we don't need to come out. I've said this before. It should not matter at the end of the day who I come home to or who I sleep with. That is my God-given right. That's my human right, my American right. I don't ask you who you go home with. I don't sit there and think about, oh my God, they're having straight sex. So if, honestly, honey, if you're so focused on who I'm sleeping with or who I'm dating, there's kind of something wrong in your life, not mine. If everybody focused on themselves, we might be able to fix more of our society. Stop worrying about what your neighbor's doing. Stop thinking about what your classmate's doing. Because I can tell you this, when I walk in that classroom tomorrow morning, I don't care if anyone's gay. I don't care if they're transgender, lesbian, bisexual, or straight. Because that's not what I'm there for. That's not what you should be there for. I get the snickers. I get people laughing at me and talking about me. I hear it, or I have people come and say, did you know they just called you a faggot down there? I really don't care no more. Take me back a few years ago, and I would have either went down there and wanted to fight you because you said something stupid about me, or I would have went home crying. But I'm not that way no more. I'm strong. And it's taken because I have more positive people in my life. That is why I always say, surround yourself with positive people. Get rid of the negative people. I told you last week, check your phone. See who's really your true friend. If they are one to just nitpick at you, nag on you, make fun of you, they're not your friend, honey. Take them out of your phone because you don't need them. Especially if you're sitting there debating or contemplating on the fact of coming out. You don't need all those haters in your life. I've talked about her millions of times and always will again. I have probably one of the most amazing females in my life. And when I say females in my life, I mean friend-wise, that's it. I can tell her anything. I don't worry about if she's going to go tell someone else. Because really, even if she did at the end of the day, I didn't say anything to her that I really couldn't say to somebody else. So I don't care. But if you're coming out, you kind of need to be careful what you say and who you say it to. Again, what happened to me may never happen to you. I know young men and older men that said, nothing happened to me when I came out. I'm sorry that you did, but I can't relate to that. So if you're one of those fortunate ones that don't have to go through all the BS like I did, honey, good for you. So just think before you just jump in coming out. We're all going to have different circumstances. People are going to react different at your job, your school, church, wherever it may be. Or what happens if you've been married to a woman or been dating a woman, but you want to come out gay or bisexual now? I not only worry about your safety, but think about what it may do to your partner or your loved one. That is why I say just don't throw your partner in your family's lap or your friends until you know how they're going to act. I worry about your safety because I worried about mine. But think about this. If we're sitting here worrying about your safety, now we got to worry about your partners. Is that fair? I'm not saying your partner doesn't love you enough that wants to go fight for you. If you're willing to do that with your partner, honey, good for you. But just be honest up front with everyone involved when you feel comfortable doing so. Again, don't let no one tell you or force you to come out until you're ready. So, again, I can only compare it to my lifestyle and who I am. So, have a fabulous evening. Remember two things. Know your status. I don't care who you are. Know your status. Also, go volunteer somewhere. Because remember, we can't fix everyone else. We can't help everybody else. Fix ourselves. But fixing ourselves first works in your backyard. Call around tomorrow and see who needs someone to help with. School, nursing home, HIV Foundation, Humane Society. Wherever it makes you feel comfortable at, do so. I've said this plenty of times and people think I'm kind of silly for saying this. I don't care if it's just go plant a tree, go plant a flower. Do something that makes you feel good. Again, have a fabulous evening.